What's up, everyone? It's Nick from Team Nitro YGO here, and today I'm bringing you my Salamangreat deck profile for June of 2025. One of my pet decks of all time, one of my favorite decks to play, and one that I'm very happy that I've been able to optimize. I don't want to say optimize, but one that I think I've optimized for the current metagame, given everything that's going on. As always, if you just want the visual deck list, a link will be in the description, so you can just click on that. But otherwise, let's talk about the card by card and why I'm playing what I'm playing. So for the main deck, we got 40 cards. We're going to talk about the one card combos first. So 3 of Fire, 3 Gazelle, 3 Mining, and 3 Circle. Wouldn't be a modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck without one card combos. And the nice thing about Gazelle, Mining, and Circle is that they all function as extenders as well as starters. So you get dual utility. Now for the extenders plus engine requirements. 2 Spinny. This card is great with any of these. That's the full combo. Which, if anybody wants, please let me know in the comment section if you want a combo tutorial. I'll make like a 3 or 4 combo video highlighting the 1 card, 2 card, and 3 card combos in the deck. And this is one of the main facets of them. 2 Foxy. This card is a pseudo starter in the sense that you can normal it and dig 3D for a solid card. The deck has 18 hits, so you're likely to find one, and you're likely to find one that's an extender too, which is really nice. And if you don't need that effect, you can always bring this back by popping a face of spell trap on the field. So you're able to chew things up like Ryzeal Cross, Malice and Underground, the White Force field spell, stuff like that. So I am playing the Mirror. This is kind of the 40th card in the deck. I just wanted a monster that could help me play through Nib, and this is it because it's Snake Eyes popular. So it can summon itself to your hand, or summon yourself to the field when you add it to your hand. It's kind of the weakest card in the deck, though. It's the first cut for sure. Weasel, combo card plus extender. Just fulfills everything that you want. Jaguar to put back extra deck resources, and the level 4 can come up sometimes, but not particularly in this list. Code of Soul is the payoff. Basically, if it's in your graveyard, you can banish it and link summon a link through a higher monster on your opponent's turn. So what we're trying to set up is a instant speed board wipe on our opponent's turn. And this card's just an extender. It's fine to draw. If you have a link monster, it just summons itself to your field, and it can give you a second sanctuary effect for the turn, so you can relink twice. So it makes your end boards a little bit more resilient. The field spell, which is a brick, but you have to play it. Will, this card is Soul Charge. Turns out Soul Charge is a pretty good card. And even if you don't Soul Charge with it, it's just a monster reborn every turn. So it just gives you body after body. And then one of the more broken cards in the deck, Salamangreat Roar. A very pivotal piece of the end boards. Even your half boards really rely on this card because you're looping it every turn with Sunlight Wolf. And just having an int archetype Omni, so you're able to negate. You can negate hand traps, you can negate power spells, you can negate breakers. Just I don't want to call it a like broken card or anything, but it's very good. For it being a 6-year-old card, it's aged pretty well. Now for the non-engine, the best hand trap in the deck is Ash Blossom. And I'm not saying that because it's the most versatile. It's just the most. This is very similar to Nibiru and Labyrinth. Just the properties of the card line up so well with what the deck is doing that it's just the best hand trap in the deck. It's a fire monster. You can summon it from Horse Prince. You can add it back off Sunlight Wolf. It's a tuner, so you can make Horse Prince, and it's a level 3, so you can make Stalio. Just it checks every box. Even though this card is mostly here as a way to say I negate Molcharmi Fubulos. But if you have to normal it, or if your hand is cracked, you can summon this from the deck and put it back in your hand, so you have a guaranteed Ash for your opponent's turn. But yeah, one of my favorite things to do in this deck is add back Ash off Sunlight Wolf and simplified game states. It's my favorite thing to do. 3 Impermanence. This card is mostly here as a way to interact with Detonator. This deck has a really bad Detonator problem because you have to maintain a monster in order to play. And Detonator just says, no, 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 not today. But as a hand trap, it's like very weak. I almost want to just cut the card entirely, but there's just nothing else I want to play over Imperm right now. Now we're on to the turn-ending hand traps, the ones that warp the format. 3 Droll and Lockbird. This card is just a concession to the fact that Mitsu Ryzeal is the most popular deck. And that deck just adds 37 cards from its deck to its hand every single turn. So being able to say no to that's super nice. And in a very niche scenario, this card can help you play through the Charmies. Because what you can do is, let's say they Fubulos you, you make the Balinks, you go, or they're going to draw a card, you're going to go Chainlink 1 Droll, Chainlink 2 Balinks to search, so you get your field spell. Now they can't draw any more cards for the rest of the turn, which means you can try to play. Droll's really good against this deck because a lot of the combos require it to add multiple times. And it shuts off the Weasel Graveyard effect, which is a very key card in being able to make your big end boards. But just being able to use this as a way to both shut off your opponents and play through Charmies. It's come up multiple times. And then speaking of Charmies, 3 Foolos. Best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! If this card's not in your deck, I don't know what you're smoking. I understand some people may not own this card, which is completely understandable, but if you own this card and you can play it, it should be in your main deck. It really should be. It's just the best card in the game by a country mile. Which I know is weird to say because everyone's like, oh, Foolos actually isn't that good. You can make your half board around it or you can just not give them any draws. Exactly, right? Like, if this card resolves against any deck and they full combo you, at minimum, you're getting 5 or 6 draws. Minimum. Malice is like maybe the only exception. They'd be able to give you 3, but you would have to be very confident in your end board to give your opponent 5 cards to let them play it. Even if they have to shuffle back cards in the end phase, that means their hand is, well, it's not sculpted because it's random, but it means they got to see so many extra cards. They got to increase their chance of seeing more non-engine to help them interact with you. Just letting a Foolos resolve and playing is absolutely absurd. It just warps the format. And then the best trap card in the game right now, 3 Dominus Impulse. This card is broken beyond belief. They made Solemn Warning a hand trap. I don't know what the hell they were smoking when they made this card. Particularly great in this deck because it's able to show off Nibiru if your opponent has a card on field. And it just helps being able to play going second, even going first. If this card kind of backs up your end boards actually sometimes, just being able to be like, all right, you have to play through the Pyro Phoenix board wipe, you have to play through the Princess Pop, the Omni, and you have to play through this. It's just nuts. It's kind of the full package. And then the last 2 cards in the deck, the 2 limited power spells, Call by the Grave and Triple Tactics Talent. These cards shouldn't be legal, but they are, so as long as they're going to be legal, they're on my deck list. Talents is the weaker of the 2, but it's still pretty ridiculous. If you've ever played with the Forceful Sentry, you know how broken that card is. This card's basically a Forceful Sentry that sometimes does another thing. And then Call by is my most hated card in the game right now. I fucking hate this card. I wish it wasn't legal, but here we are, so that does it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Like I said, the only card I would want to cut from the main deck is Mir. I think it's the weakest card in the deck by far. But everything else I'm pretty happy with. So 40 in the main deck. Let's move on to our extra deck. And luckily, because it's Salad, this is going to be pretty short. 13 combo requirements, 3 Balinks, 3 Sunlight Wolf. This is really important because of the Charmies and Nibirus running around. You want to have the ability to grind. This card lets you do that. The third one comes up a lot. 2 Raging Phoenix. This is the big payoff for making all the bodies. Being able to search any card in the archetype while also having a floater is very good. The payoff to all this comboing, of course, is Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix. This card is how you're board wiping the opponent on their turn, and it also can win the game in time. It just randomly does a bunch of things. And then the last cards for comboing are the Stalio, the Horse Prince, and the Princess. So all these cards have their distinct, unique function to help the deck achieve its primary goal, and they're all just very powerful cards in their own right. Turns out you have 2 things that summon from deck. Those cards are historically pretty busted, so yay us. Princess, one of the best Link 3s ever printed. Black Rose Dragon, instant speed's pretty good, I've heard. And again, Pyro Phoenix is a time card, so don't forget that. That matters a lot. And then the 2 flex slots in the extra deck are Hida and Phoenix. Because this deck is fire locked often between Salamangreat of Fire and Stalio, I wanted my 2 flex slots to be fire monsters. Because I think in a perfect world, I'd rather play IP, SP. Those cards are just a lot more powerful, and they help play not around Droll, but into Droll and into Fua a little bit better. You can still end on 2 disruptions through Droll if IP, SP were in the extra deck, instead of having to jump through all these hoops to get to Princess and then play really hard in a nib. But it is what it is. These 2 cards are still fine. I play Hida anyway, I think. This is kind of the only flex slot. This might just be an SP anyway. Who knows? I might change my mind and decide that SP is better, but I just value the ability to summon my Link monsters under the fire locks a lot. So that's it for the extra deck. We're going to talk about the side deck real quick. This is the part of the deck that I'm the least confident about for sure, but I'm still pretty happy with a lot of the card choices, but I'll talk about the ones that I'm not as well. 2 Ghost Spell. The stock on this card is just going up and up. Really good against Malice. Also very powerful against Rogue. But it's mostly here as a way to have extra cards that are good against Malice. The deck has 3 or 4 choke points where this card is convertible. And speaking of Malice, this fucking asshole, I hate that this card just always eats up 3 side deck slots, but it is what it is. Until they actually deal with the deck for good, Lancias are going to be in the side deck. 3 Nibiru. I just wanted a heavy impact hand trap that I can board into so that Fuwa can draw the best cards possible. And again, the less people expect Nibiru, the better it gets, and it's kind of in the format we're in right now. It's not that great into Mitsu, like pure Mitsu, but against Mitsu Raziel, it can be okay. And against a lot of rogue decks, this card just cleans house. The worst card in my side deck, Crossout Designator. This deck just has a really big hand trap problem, though, and I really wanted to have a card that could answer everything. The nice thing about this deck is because of Signet Mining, you can board in card, like you can leave a Fu in your deck going first, you can have Nibs in your deck going first, you can have Droll in your deck going first, and those cards like aren't terrible. But I just hate this card. I just like am never happy drawing this card, because if you never convert it, at least with Call By, if you don't convert it, you just set it in your back row, and it acts as like a DD Crow, which is like, the floor of that is like perfectly fine, but if you don't convert this card is fucking nothing. Like, it's so bad. Like, I want to get it out of my deck list, but I just don't know what else I'd play instead of it. Duster, as a concession to Blue Eyes, I just wanted to have extra ways to answer mass back row, since I felt my deck was lacking in that department, and this is the card I chose for it. And then the last cards in the side deck are the Thrust package, so we have the 2 Thrust, Sanctum, Barrier, Different Dimension Ground. Obviously, this is for when you go first, and you know what the matchup is about, so if you're playing against Malice or Crystron, you can board into the Sanctum. If you're playing against Mitsu Raziel or a rogue deck that folds to this, you can fold in the Barrier. So like a White Forest has Amina, or even you could board this in against Blue Eyes, but I like this a little bit more. You could also board this in against things like Memento to call Fusion, so that their M board's a little bit weaker. Just ridiculous card. And Different Dimension Ground's a Floodgate. We like Floodgates in this household. Turns out, when you tell the Fiendsmith player that they don't have access to their graveyard, they're kind of a sad panda, so it is what it is. Also against Blue Eyes, I think this card is way better than Barrier. Just being able to be like, you don't get an Ether Barrel this turn, your Blue Eyes aren't going to the graveyard. Like, it kind of actually shuts off a lot of their ability to play, which I value a lot. The only thing I would consider for the side deck with Thrust is Mischief for the Gnomes, because that card can just pass, like that card can make Mitsu Raziel pass twice, which is kind of what you want. But not only could I not find the card, I'm still not also particularly convinced that it is better than Barrier, because Mischief only covers the Mitsu Raziel matchup. This card covers a lot of matchups, which is why I chose it. But I could be talked into playing a Mischief for the Gnomes. That card is very effective at what it does, even though that thing it does is kind of narrow. But anyway, that's going to do it for the deck profile. Like I said at the start, I've just been jamming this deck for fun. This is like just my pet deck, something that I like to play when I'm not in love with the format. It just kind of gives me that dopamine rush that I need. But this deck does get to play a lot of powerful cards that I like playing with, like being able to play Impulse, being able to play Fua, and also just having that Fiendsmith angle to it, where just like, even though this deck can be a combo deck and fold to high impact hand traps, you can also just play a super low to the ground resource game, which is very low to the ground, very resource intensive fight over engine, which is exactly what this deck wants to do, which is why I love it so much. But anyway, that's going to do it for the deck profile, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for me, any cards that you agree or disagree with, please sound off in the comment section. I'm very happy to talk shop about this deck. And again, as always, the visual link is also down in the description. And if you want the combo tutorial video, please let me know. And if there's enough requests for it, I will get that recorded. Otherwise, my Facebook and my Twitter are going to be in the description, so go follow me, go friend me. I'm going to post some cool updates over there. And that's going to do it. My name is Nick from Team Nitro YGO. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.